Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om.
Hey everyone, so happy you can join us for the Love Everyone podcast.
With your hosts, Govind Das and Rama Chandra Das.
A conversation of love, devotion, and walking the path of Bhakti Yoga.
Ram Ram, welcome everybody to episode 21 of the Love Everyone podcast. I'm your host, Rama Chandra Das.
Sitaram, Sitaram. Welcome, everybody. My name's Govind Das, and it's just such a blessing to be back in the podcast, brother. We've had a few weeks off, but with some wonderful, wonderful travels to our motherland, and now we're back, and so happy to be back in this.
How does it feel to be back in America?
Well, it feels good, I have to say. My heart is always in India, I have to say, but it's wonderful coming back to a new home. And right when I came back, my parents came out here for about 10 days. So that was really sweet. I never expected them to come out here again, but they're in their 80s and they came out. We had a wonderful time, and we're back in the Chalisas. So that's a great just daily rhythm to be in. So had some great kirtans happening. I can't complain, man. Life is so beautiful, brother. How about you? You just got back this week.
I just got back. I'm still feeling the jet lag a little bit.
Yeah.
But I feel the same way. I feel like there's always like a little double-edged sword, leaving India, because I'm always glad to come home to my house and my dog and my friends and my family and all that stuff. It's always such a sweet reunion, and but of course there's like a heart-wrenching experience every time leaving. And it's funny because I was thinking of how like India didn't even want me to leave. We got on the tarmac in the plane in Delhi at 4 a.m. or whatever to fly out, and the captain came over the radio and said, "Oh, there's a little technical glitch, And we sat there for nearly 2 more hours just on the tarmac in the plane, waiting for the technical glitch. So I was playing with, I was really struggling with my own, personal frustrations and all that stuff, and trying to do chalisas and, all that work that I'm attempting to do to stay calm. But I was losing my shit, to be honest with you.
But you would have probably been losing it a lot worse going to India. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah.
Like, oh, is this plane not going to take off? I'm not going to get to India. And at least you were in India. If they would have had you another night, they would have put you up in a nice hotel in Delhi, and that would have been sweet too.
I know. But then I kept playing with myself thinking, oh,
you were playing with yourself?
Oh my God.
That just was not right.
I'm sorry, everybody. Maybe, you know what? I think we're close enough to the beginning of this one just to start over. I was going
to. No, you can cut it out. Edit
No. I'm not going to cut that out. Are you kidding?
Well, you said, I was playing with myself. I think you meant playing with your own thoughts, right?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Thank you. Yes, I meant I was playing with my own thoughts. And thinking, wow, India doesn't want me to leave. Isn't that sweet? India's trying to keep me here.
Yeah.
But anyway,
well,
took off, made it home. Here I am.
How beautiful that we both got to be together there. We got to see each other. We got 3 days there together.
Yeah, something like
3
that.
days.
Yeah.
We got to sing kirtan together. We had a great few days. That was the beginning, actually not the beginning of your journey, because you had already been in your Ayurvedic world for two
Yeah.
weeks prior to that. That was the end of my trip. And oh my gosh, dude, I didn't sleep for what was it, 17 days. We were going so hard, pushing so hard. You had been sleeping so much in your Ayurvedic world. You were going to bed at 8. I was going to bed at 11 or 12, getting up at 5 and going hard.
Oh
I
man.
got on that plane and I pretty much slept the whole way back to America.
You did. You can
I
sleep
was
on a plane like
so
that?
exhausted. Yeah.
Oh,
But what a great trip, man. It was
yeah.
it was great to see you, and what a blessing, man.
It's just the most amazing experience every time. I love it there so much.
I love it there so
It makes me
much.
cry. I get all misty just thinking about how much I love it there, you know.
Me too. And then those first few days back for me, it's like I'm in America, but I'm still seeing through eyes of like being in India,
Uh,
and like memories are just flooding my mind of all of the different people and places. But like I'm here. It's very strange, but it was a great trip. I say it every time. People say, "How was it?" I was like, that was the best trip of my life. You know what I mean? But every single year I say the same thing. So
yeah, yeah.
it was so great.
It was a lot of different for me this year because I didn't take a group.
Yeah.
So, it was pretty relaxing,
Mm,
on some levels, but I took Ganga bath every day in
mm,
Rishikesh.
mm.
Every single day. I didn't miss a single day, multiples on some days. Uh, Someone told me they said you get you get an extra month of life for every Ganga bath you take.
I love that.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, I think I took a bath every day or twice a day as well too. I couldn't stay away. I mean, I was there a few weeks earlier. It was hot
Uh,
in Rishikesh. The water, the Ganga was warm, and I just couldn't wait to get down in that water. It was so beautiful and
yeah.
refreshing. She's just the mother goddess. Oh
It's
my
amazing. I mean, I've
gosh.
swam in a lot of bodies of water, and some amazing places. But every time I take a dip in Ganga up there near Rishikesh, it's like I just get overwhelmed with this feeling of like, this is not normal.
Mm,
This is not any old dip in the river.
yeah.
This is not, you know, it's so steeped. And there's so much construction and everything going on in Rishikesh right now. And it's changing so fast, but underneath it all, you still can just feel that ancient energy of the tapasya.
I was just thinking the same thing. It was like people complain, a lot of people complaining about Rishikesh and how big and grow fast it's growing and construction, as you had mentioned. But the main attraction is not the city, it's being on the banks of the Ganga.
Mm,
And being on the banks of the Ganga is, I imagine, like it was 1,000 years ago, other than maybe hearing some honking of some horns and stuff like that. But you go down there, man, and the energy is so sattvic, is
yeah.
so pure and right for meditation and devotion.
And especially if you go down there at sunrise,
Oh,
like, I mean, that was on my last morning there. I went down really early and we had, because I knew I had to get back and pack and breakfast and get in the taxi and all that stuff. So I went down really early and I was just completely alone. There was just nobody there. And it was so shanti.
mm,
And I really felt that experience of like, wow, this is where the rishis were. This is where the tapasya happened. This is
mm,
where the whole thing, the Vedas and the mantras and everything, it all came through this, zone. And I'm in it.
yeah.
And it was very timeless and really a really sweet meditation and just experience. And oh man.
Yeah, I had a very similar um, meditation this time. Every time I would go in Ganga, I would go in, I would chant a Chalisa, and then I would just start like going into that same conscious awareness that this is the holiest river in the world. And this river has the power, and I'm conscious of this while I'm in her. It says,
Mm.
"This river, you have the power to cleanse and purify my soul and my mind from all of its contaminations. Mother Ganga, please,
Mm.
I open myself to you." Like, I've never been that consciously saying that to her while in it. And I
Mm.
think a big part of it was that it was so warm that I wasn't just battling being, able
You
to
weren't just
just,
racing out.
right. I would stay, but it was always such an intense tapasya. Here, it was like I could actually relax
Mm.
in it.
Yeah.
It was so warm. And
Yeah.
then I could go a little deeper into that devotional state because I was actually relaxed. But it was great, man. And we just had such a beautiful group. And, you know, 12 of the 14 people knew the Hanuman Chalisa. So we didn't stop chanting the Chalisa. I was thinking, I've been just in this last month or a few weeks now, I've been in the Rishikesh, Maharaji's Rishikesh ashram, the Kenchi ashram, the Kakri Ghat ashram, and the Vrindavan ashram. And this week we're going to be in the Taos ashram.
Oh, Jay
So,
Hanuman.
wow, just feeling so grateful. We're just blessed, brother, to have the most loving, compassionate, kind being ever incarnated on the universe to be our guru.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
100%. I love that Vrindavan ashram so much.
I do too.
It's just magic. I could just sit there. I
Oh,
I could
that
live there.
Hanuman, more than any other Hanuman in the world, that Hanuman, I don't know what it is, but the moment I look into his eyes, I start crying. I just
Mm.
don't know what it is. But that Murti is so charged up.
Oh, you cry, baby.
I'm such a crybaby. I think you're a crybaby too. The Bhakti crybabies are back. We're back. I'm not crying. You crying? Hey, I'm not.
We're all crying,
I'm not
man.
crying. You crying? Where
Oh,
did that start on the
I
Chalisa?
think that started on the Chalisa
Yeah, I'm not
satsang.
crying. Are you crying?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, but it's good, right?
It's so great. I'm not crying. Are you crying?
I'm not
As
crying. You're
everybody's
crying.
crying.
I'm not crying. You're crying.
All right. Well,
It's
it's great to be back, everybody. Thanks
it
for
is.
bearing with this long break from episode 20 to 21, but we are back and
Let's
gonna
jump
keep
right into
moving
it. Let's
forward.
do our opening prayers
Let's do it.
and dive into our Hanuman Chalisa.
All right. Okay, everybody, we love to just chant a few lines from the Guru Stotram to invoke the blessings of Guru and open the doorway into this time of conversation steeped in bhakti and devotion. Om Akanda Mandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
Salutations to the Guru who revealed to me the supreme truth, which is unfragmented, infinite, timeless divinity, and which pervades the entire universe.
Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha.
Salutations to the Guru who opened my eyes, which had been blinded by the darkness of ignorance, by applying the divine ointment of self knowledge.
Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha.
Guru is the creator, sustainer, and the destroyer. Guru is directly the supreme spirit, both manifest reality and the absolute. My reverential salutations to the glorious Guru who resides in the hearts of all beings as the true self.
Hari Om. Bolo Shi Sat Gurudev Bhagwan Ki.
Jay.
Shi Baba Neem Karoli Santa Maharaj Sat Gurudev Ki.
Jay.
All right, everybody. Jai Gurudev, Jai Gurudev. This is where we, in our podcast, we take a look at a line in the Hanuman Chalisa. Remember, we were just speaking about this, that Maharaji said the Hanuman Chalisa has the power to change fate.
Mm.
Wow. Hearing that, and then just to, I know for yourself, for myself, this Hanuman Chalisa, the absolute cornerstone of our spiritual life and spiritual practice. So let's dive back in again.
Let's do it.
Chopai number 18. Though the sun is thousands of miles away, you swallowed it, thinking it a sweet fruit. One more time. Though the sun is thousands of miles away, you swallowed it, thinking it a sweet fruit. Yuga Sahasra, Yo Janapada Bhanu, Lilyo Tahi, Madura Palajanu. One more time. Yuga Sahasra, Yo Janapada Bhanu, Lilyo Tahi, Madura Palajanu. How great, brother. Please, just share a little bit about this line.
Oh man, well this is such a great line, right? I mean, everybody knows, if anybody who loves Hanuman loves the image of the baby Hanuman leaping into the air towards the sun. It's just such a sweet image, and that baby Hanuman, because if you love Hanuman, you really love baby Hanuman, right? It's like you think about like Krishna lovers, who do they really love? Oh, little Gopala, right? They just get all gooey and everything, And I just think of Hanuman, and this is one of the great stories as well, But honestly, what I'm thinking about today, and this line, I mean, you know the story is wonderful. It's without going into details, it's baby Hanuman wakes up one day and he's so hungry and his mom's not around, and he looks up into the trees above him and he sees this big juicy mango hanging right there, and he calls for his mom and she doesn't come, and next thing you know, he starts leaping up into the air, but the mango just keeps staying without, beyond his grasp. And of course, you can tell by already having heard this line that it's not a mango at all, it's the sun. And Hanuman jumps into the air with all of his might, and he was a baby monkey, so he didn't know his own strength. So he had no idea that he was the son of the wind and an incarnation of Shiva. And so all of that power and strength of his, of his true nature came shining out in that moment, and he was like a rocket ship. He left the atmosphere and was flying through outer space towards the sun. And but the one thing that really, what I love about this line so much, and I just discovered this recently, and the reason why I'm bringing it up is because we were just talking about the rishis in um, in Rishikesh, sitting there on the banks of Ganga doing their meditation and thinking about all the amazing superpowers and siddhis that those early ancient rishis had. And this opening part of this line, Yuga Sahasra Yojana, is actually an equation. If you take the length of time of a yuga and you multiply it with the sahasra, which is 1,000, and then you multiply it with a yojana, which has a distance, it actually adds up to the distance to the sun from the earth. That the rishis actually knew how far the earth was to the sun. And this is something that comes up over and over and over and over. Like, science gets so excited with itself, and it says, we've just discovered, and then they'll say something that the rishis already knew. The
So
rishis,
how do you think they knew?
they knew it through their samadhi, through their that they were like, if you look at the third chapter of the Yoga Sutras, right, it's all about the siddhis, the superpowers that you can come by through samadhi, through meditation on a particular object. Like, you can you can acquire the strength of elephants by meditating on elephants. You can acquire the most amazing superpowers through meditation on those things. So I believe that, the rishis must have been able to, like, meditate on, what is this earth that we're sitting on? What is this ground that we're sitting on? Because they obviously couldn't fly to outer space and see that it was a globe, but they were able to determine that it was indeed a globe, and that without having to sail around it in a boat, they were able to not only determine that it was a globe, and but they could tell how far it was. They knew how far it was. They knew how far the moon was. They knew how large the moon was. They knew how far the sun was. And it's through their deep meditation. I mean, that's at least what I believe. I wasn't there, so I don't know. What do you think? How do you think they knew?
Well, there's this word. I really love this word, and it's called superconscious. Have you ever
Mhm.
heard, like,
Yeah, is
you
that
know,
from, like, the Freud, or no, the
no, like it's a
Jungian?
no, it's a
Jungian.
yogic word.
Oh, oh, okay.
You through meditation, you can become super conscious. You can embody essentially a super conscious state.
Mm.
So I think deep. I mean, I have faith. I think that's why we follow this path. We have faith in these practices, that through these practices, you can um, go beyond what science even believes to be true, to enter into the a highest state of human potentiality.
Mm.
And I think that's what these rishis, that were, their whole life was dedicated to deep samadhi states of meditation, were able to enter into that super conscious state and intuit way more than we can even understand in our own rational mind. So I agree with you
Mm.
wholeheartedly. I think that's where it comes from.
Mm. Yeah, and I think it makes me think of when they say, "Oh, the average human only uses like 5% of their brain, or whatever," or I don't know if that's the right number or not, but
Small person.
small
Yeah.
percentage of their brain power. But Vanamali, who actually, by the way, Vanamali's written a wonderful book called The Science of the Rishis. So if this is, like, making you think out there, you guys, if you're listening and you're like, I want to know more about these rishis, that's a great book by Ivana Mali, The Science of the Rishis. But she claims that the rishis used 100%.
Mm.
So this would, follow along with what you're talking about, that super consciousness, by really the deep meditation, they're able to open up, essentially, like, to open those unused portions of their brain, and tap into that total, into that 100% human potentiality. So, I mean, like, I think about what I can already do with my brain, and I'm no genius, but I can already do quite a lot. And if I'm only using 5% of it, I mean, wow, what if I could use it all? And
I
that's what.
think I think psychedelics do that too. They light up parts of your brain. What do they say? DMT. don't know if you've ever used DMT, but
No.
that's a big one that opens up way more portions of your brain. Mushrooms, I think you've probably felt that.
Well, 100%. I was going to say,
I was
even
like,
as
I'm
I
so
was,
fucking smart when I'm on these substances, and then I come back and I'm so fucking stupid.
so I remember one time, I was going to tell a little story. One time I was tripping out on mushrooms, right? And man, I was, I was downloading it, like the meaning of the universe kind of stuff, right? And I was there with my buddy. It was just the two of us, and we were up all night long. And I was ranting and raving, and I had assigned him to take notes, right?
You were guru, he was disciple.
And but he was taking notes. He was taking notes. He was like more like the transcriber, right? Or he was like the stenographer or whatever, or so I thought. But all night long, I was dropping bombs like you wouldn't believe. Like we probably could solve the problems of the universe if those notes had been taken properly. But
I think I know where this is going. Keep going.
so the next morning we get up, we do, we're groggy and everything, have our cup of coffee or whatever, and clear our minds a little bit. And I was like, "Hey, wait a second, where are those notes?" And he was like, "Oh, they're right here." There was like a doodle. There, there was like some googly eyes.
He didn't write any of it.
He was like the whole night too. He was like, "Oh," and he was, and he was pretending to write. There were just some doodles and some scribbles and some.
So he never wrote it.
He didn't write anything.
I thought you were going to say, because I've done the same thing where I've taken notes and journaled during those experiences. And the next morning I wake up, it's like, I read it, it's like, this is shit, man.
You thought you were so smart. Thought you were so smart. Anyway, yeah. So
great. Well, it reminds me of Maharaji. I mean, think these guys were taking LSD to get to that super conscious state.
Yeah.
And then they gave it to Maharaji and nothing happened to him.
He was
was already in that super conscious state.
He was already there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that, and I think that's what's, although we can see how we can describe how there's those moments of opening that maybe the psychedelics can give to us, but as Maharaji said, it can take you to Jesus, but then you got to come back.
Yeah.
And so that ideal of being able to live in that superconscious state without, taking substances of whatever kind, is very alluring, and very exciting. Although I was thinking about it and like, I'm so glad for the rishis and I'm so glad for all the mantras and the Vedas and everything that they came up with. But when it really boils down to it, I mean, like my path is not sitting in a cave for 30 years, and trying to tap into the super consciousness. I mean, all I want to do is sing kirtan.
Yeah, it's a different path. I got you. And for a while, I don't know about you, but I really got deep into meditation for many years in the beginning of my spiritual journey. And at times I would end up with like a headache because I was pushing too hard to expand and to focus. And at a certain point, I started to think like, this doesn't really feel so healthy for me. And obviously with just the natural flow of my life, I was introduced to more bhakti and that agreed with me a lot more. But some people's path is they just want to push it and push it and push it. And yeah, beautiful for them too.
Yeah. So, well, what do you think about this line? Is there anything else you want to say about this line?
It's such a sweet line, and it's like every Indian child is brought up with this line in their life, and I think it's a great image of Hanuman like leaping through outer space. But remember, he gets his name here as well too, because Indra sends that thunderbolt at him and hits him in the jaw.
Mm.
And so the one with the disfigured jaw is what the name Hanuman means.
And isn't this something, baby Hanuman? I mean, the Vajra, Indra's thunderbolt weapon, is like virtually could like destroy the whole world if it wanted to, if he wanted it to. And it hits Hanuman right in the face. And it all it does is like break his jaw. I mean, shouldn't like Hanuman have exploded into a million pieces in that moment?
Well, Hanuman was destined and born for something much bigger.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's, I think, something beautiful like his father. You get to understand a little bit of the loving nature of Pavan or Vayu, how he catches Hanuman as Hanuman's gravitationally just being drawn down to the earth, and Pavan comes and swoops under him
Yeah.
and then brings him into the cave and nurses him back to health. It's sweet, sweet
Mm.
line, beautiful line.
It is very sweet. You know, and I love too um that he was gonna try to eat the son, you know, and the son was actually even nervous, you know. Maybe he wasn't nervous as much as, you know, I think the son, he's busy, right? I mean, the son doesn't get to take a break. He's 24, Surya's got a 24/7 gig, you know. He doesn't have the time to deal with. So I don't know if he was scared really or more like frustrated or concerned that it was going to throw him off schedule or whatever. Um, but but then ended up becoming Hanuman's guru.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
I love that. And then Surya says, "Oh, how you can offer Guru Dakshina? Go befriend Sugriva,
Oh yeah, who we just talked about a couple of episodes
right?
ago.
And go serve Sugriva."
Mm.
And then as he goes and serves Sugriva, Sugriva says, "Oh, he spies Ram and Lakshman coming through the forest, and he says, go befriend or go see who these guys are," because Sugriva was scared to
Mm.
death because he thought they had been sent by Bali, his brother. So it all connects. A lot connects through this line right here.
Wow, it's a great line. I mean,
Is this line in Ramayana, or is
no,
this
oh no,
just
no, no. This is
just sort
like
of a folk line that's been passed through the generations?
not. I've never seen it in a Ramayana. No,
Yeah.
this is
I think
like.
I've heard it spoken about in the Ramayana,
Have you?
but not I can't remember where.
Huh.
Um, yeah, I'm reading right now this really cool South Indian version
Mm.
of like the Tamil version of Ramayana right now. That's like it's fascinating. There's some neat stuff in it. I'll
Do you remember
bring.
what it's called?
I can't remember what it's called. I'll bring
Yeah.
it up next time. You
Yeah,
know,
I'm
all
not.
the time I get to read.
I swear to God, I feel like now that you've moved to Encinitas, I just have this vision of you like with your surfboard, like with your feet up on your surfboard, your sunglasses on.
All day at the beach.
You got your
All day.
Ramayana in your lap. You've got
That's
like
it.
cold kombucha there in your
All
hand.
day. All day. My dream life right there. Oh,
You could
that's
take.
what my friend said yesterday. I was I was like, I gotta go. I got hours of emails to do. And she said, "What? You have a lot of emails to do? Who do you email?" You know what I mean? Like we're all so busy emailing. Everybody's got a life of communication.
How did she think that you were communicating with
I
people?
don't know. I don't
because that just doesn't fit her idea of
I
you.
guess not. Right. I'm surfing all day.
You're just the yogi surfer
Right.
dude. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
But
Well,
this is the time of communication, you know,
yeah.
era of everybody's communicating.
I have to say it was pretty sweet being in India. And you know what? I have not looked at the news now for nearly 6 weeks.
Yes, yes, since our last podcast.
Since our last podcast.
Remember we
Oh
talked
yeah.
go back to podcast 20,
Yeah,
everybody.
yeah,
You'll
yeah.
hear what we're talking about.
No, it's been great, man. You know, and I got back to America and like because there was one moment of the day, like when I sit down, have my breakfast, and maybe just look at the computer and just kind of tune into the news for 5, 10 minutes, while I have my breakfast. And I got back to America and I had my first breakfast and I sat down at the table and like I felt that
That urge,
that urge to like
impulse,
grab my
yeah.
phone or my computer or whatever and pull something up and I didn't do it.
Good man.
And I haven't done it. And I
Dude,
love it. It's like, I mean, it's
I think life is better without it. I really do.
I would say that one big takeaway from episode 21, everybody, is stop looking at the news. I mean, what's it
Dude,
doing for you?
but some people would get very upset hearing that
Uh,
you're not, that means you're not a part of what's going on, and you need to, social action and all this kind of
yeah.
stuff. Uh, but that's just not the way I feel.
I just think, you say, oh, you're not a part of it. And I'm like, great. I don't want, because when I look at a lot of what's going on in the world, I don't want to be a part of that.
Yeah, I don't
In fact,
either.
my practices are trying to get me to be not a part of that. What's the great sort of like proverbial saying, which is to live in this world, or to be of this world, but not in this world. So what
Yeah,
is it? Did I
in
get
the
that right?
world, not of the world. Yeah,
In the
in the
world, but
world,
not
but
of
not
the
of
world.
the world. Yeah,
Which one is it?
it be in the world, but not of the world.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, you can't help but be in the world, right?
yeah.
Until as long as you got the body. Um, but to just not be, because honestly, most of like I wasn't like reading the news and then like doing anything about it, you know, except just complaining to my friends, maybe.
Yeah, I would just heard this. I just watched this post on Instagram, and he was really fucking laying into yoga teachers and that are yogis, our modern day yogis, and that you're not doing enough, and you can't call yourself spiritually awake if you're not doing social action
Mm.
and fighting all the wrongs of the world right now. And I was just like, well, dude, I don't see what you're doing. You're pointing the finger at everybody else, but what are you doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe in your heart you don't believe it's right, but are you picketing on the corner of the street and
Well, he's telling you to get to work. That's what he's doing.
oh, that's his work in all of this.
That's his work is to make sure you're supposed to be out there doing it. I've been really thinking about this a lot because this is a trend that you're describing that's been going on for a number of years,
Yeah.
especially I mean here in Seattle there's a lot of like political correctness and everything and we've had a lot of big, protests over the years um and and there's been a lot of accusations of teachers and I've directly encountered it who are not doing the social justice work that they should be doing, and I think that we have to really redefine like even what activism is because I think honestly living a peaceful simple life where you're resisting getting swept away with the hypnotizing, culture of separateness. Just literally doing that is activism.
I think that could be the most powerful form of activism.
It's the hardest form of activism. It's easy to get angry and go shout in the streets. But to actually be peaceful and to be live a simple life and all that amidst all this chaos and the magnetizing energy of like, come, buy our bullshit. And I don't mean just buy our bullshit like literally physically buying stuff at the store. I mean, I'm talking about buy the story that the
Yeah.
newspapers are giving, buy the, line that the politicians are giving you, buy into the division that's taking place. Uh, to resist that, that is some serious activism. And so if you're listening and you're resisting in your own way, uh, in any way, and just trying to be peaceful and be loving, then give yourself some credit because I think it's real.
Yeah, I think it's real too. I get, and I think of Maharaji, he was just not like Indira Gandhi was, I think it was Indira Gandhi. One of the Gandhis was, they had a whole parade outside of the ashram was going by, and somebody said, "Aren't you going to go pay respects to the whoever that was?" And he didn't even budge. I just think maybe I'm wrong, but it just didn't seem like that was even a care or a concern of his, because he lived so in so much more of a zoomed out perspective, right?
Yeah.
And I think zoomed in, when we're really zoomed in and we're identified, zoomed in is being identified with differences. Zoomed out is seeing sub ek, it's all one.
Yeah.
And I think in the world, but not of the world, is we have to be able to live life zoomed in and zoomed out at the same time. We have to honor our differences. And yet we have to, in the zoomed out perspective, we have to see that it's all God's play and it's all one. And God's presence is in everywhere and everything. I think Ram Dass's great teaching of putting Caspar Weinberger on his altar and doing arti to it, as we talked about, I think in that last episode, is is the practice of zooming out, not being, because when we're so zoomed in, we're the victim to everything. When we zoom out, everything is just fine the way it is.
Mm.
Everything is unfolding exactly as it should.
And there's definitely like room for there are some people's dharma is to be in the streets and to try to make social change, and we do. But if you think about it from a yogic point of view, like they're still trying to fix the problem from outside. And the problem is actually the deeper consciousness. And so, like what Ram Dass liked to say, the best thing you can do for the world is to work on yourself. Because, this is something I used to say all the time, is that peace on earth will never happen if we are turbulent inside. And it's just a reflection of our insideness that there's so much turbulence on the outside. The fact that people are so unhappy and so discontented and so far away from like any kind of peace is what makes them so susceptible to, the politicians who want to divide us, or the marketers that say that you are not perfect, whole, and complete. You need this car. You need this electronic device. You need this handbag, and so honestly, it is the people who are really working on themselves and trying to find that inner peace, for lack of a better way to describe it. They're the ones who are actually going to change the world. And this is my opinion. They're the ones who are going to change the world, because the consciousness of the world has to shift, or else we don't stand a chance.
And the consciousness shifts one person at a time through
That's
doing
it.
their own work. Something that Radhanath Swami talks about, the ecology of your own consciousness. And
Mm.
like we're spending so much time focused on the ecology, the external ecology, but more important, that is our internal ecology. And when you were talking about, I was just seeing somebody marching in the street. I hate this president. This president's terrible. But that hate just breeds more hate.
And that's it.
And if somebody is against something, that person they're against is probably going to fight back, and that's going to create more
Mm.
um, dis-ease, right? Only when we're in that in the state of unity where there's no fighting against anything can karma just work itself out,
Mm.
and then potentially peace comes from that. But I think the yogis were always, the rishis, as we've been talking about, recognized as having the most important job
Yeah.
amongst all humans, because they were the ones living in the unified field of consciousness without preferences or judgments. Their consciousness was pure. The moment we start pointing fingers and saying something is wrong, we're poisoning our own consciousness. And the
Mm.
ecology of our own consciousness is not just pure and open anymore. It's not blue sky, there's clouds in it. So I love this. And
Yeah. It's
again,
so,
that's not to say if you're out there fighting against what you don't believe to is right, that's not good. Some people's dharma is that. I think what triggered this whole conversation was this guy on Instagram saying, if you yogis, I'm tired of hearing you yogis, if you're not out there fighting for what's not right, then how can you call yourself a yogi?
yeah.
Well, I think we're just bringing up another possibility here.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, we, anybody who's working at feeling peaceful and contented and tapping into that inner truth, all of those people are like those ancient rishis that you were talking about. That in India, they're very clear that those rishis, those even today, those sadhus up in the mountains or in the holy cities that have devoted themselves to peace and prayer and mantra and meditation, and living that simple life, that it's holding it all together. And I really believe that, because the power of love, as we know, there's been scientific studies that show this, that the power of love is so much stronger than the power of hate. So a small percentage of people living in that field, whether you want to call it that universal superconsciousness or that field of love, that field of bhakti and devotion, a very small percentage of those people can counteract a very large amount of people feeling that anger and hatred. And so every single person that's doing that inner work is holding the balance, is holding the balance. And what you said too about that anger, that if we feel so much anger, our activism, if we want to solve the problem, has to be like Gandhi's activism, where you see him and he's standing up for what he believes in, but there's no anger and hatred behind the energy. Or Nelson Mandela, the same thing. It's like that peaceful resistance. It is that the people resisting are feeling peaceful no matter what's happening.
Mm.
And when we add that hatred and that anger to our activism, it becomes what I call demon food. Because a lot of these people that we might want to fight against, like maybe an evil politician, is a demon. Like we could just take that from like the Ramayana, and Ravana is a demon and he needs to be destroyed. And in that same way, like our world is filled with these demons who have so much power. But when we hate them, it's like food
Mm.
for them. It makes them more powerful. It's like we're actually, like, it's fuel for the fire. And so we have to be very, very careful, because we think, even it's very easy to think we're doing good we're marching in the streets, but the minute that we're like punching the policeman, even though we think the policeman's the bad guy, we're just as bad as the rest.
Yeah. And I think I love this. And I think really like, at least my practice is feeling like, can I just be okay with all of that? Can I just be at peace with all of it, with everything that's happening in life, in the world, and not get tilted to one side or the other side, attraction or aversion, just to be okay with it all. And I think that zooming out is really the only way you can do that. Mm-hmm. And the only way you can zoom out is, I think, through these practices. It's the only way you can develop that spaciousness within your awareness, is my feeling. I don't know how you can zoom out without it.
Yeah. I really wish I'd been able to zoom out when I was sitting on that airplane stuck on the tarmac.
That was completely zoomed in.
I was completely zoomed in. There was
right?
One thing happening in the whole world.
Right.
And that was me stuck on the tarmac.
But zooming out is saying, this is a blip in time. And it makes absolutely no difference. But zooming in, it's all encompassing.
Yeah.
It's all encompassing.
Isn't that crazy? It's crazy. It's crazy when I think about it. Like, and like, imagine like if I hadn't been like doing these practices.
Yeah.
I probably would have taken somebody out.
now here's the other thing though, the trick in this, when you're saying zooming in and zooming out, but what was real for you was that you were zoomed in.
Yeah.
And that you were in your suffering.
Yeah.
And even though you could say, well, I'm going to zoom out right now, and I know this is just a blip in time, but still you had all this stuff going through your body because you had identified with the zoomed in state.
Yeah.
Now the trick is like, or shall we say but you got to be real as well too.
Yeah.
You can't fake any of this stuff. But I think if we can be aware of the zoomed out when we're going through our suffering, maybe it eases a little bit of the grip.
It does. I've been experiencing this a lot lately, and I experienced it recently when I think I told the story about when I broke my toe. It turns out I broke my toe. It still hurts. It's been months. When I stubbed my toe, and I said that I had this. I'm
going to send you some flowers.
Crazy. Jesus. Thank you. Dahlias. I like dahlias.
Dahlias.
Yeah, and some ranunculus.
I said, what the hell is a ranunculus?
You don't know what a ranunculus is? Oh, dude, you need to up your flower game, bro.
I'm so flowerful.
Okay. No, but I've been having this experience of like being in pain, physical pain, and also, or not just physical pain, like even like emotional pain or mental pain or discomfort, and been like having this experience of like my physical body or my mind is experiencing something, and then there's this other part of me that's like the witness, that's like watching and going, oh wow, it makes me think of Ananda Mayi Ma. She never said me. She would always say my body is feeling hunger. She would say, my body, did this yesterday, or my body did that yesterday, or my body is sick, or whatever. And this, just like this constant awareness that she had of that, like she wasn't even identifying with her body, But I'm having more and more experiences like this where I'm like, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, there he goes. He's doing that. He's doing that thing. I mean, even when I was going through that on the plane, there was another part of me that was just like, wow, look at you go, man. I mean, let it go, bro. The plane's going to take off or it's not going to take off, or, you know, you're gonna make it to your destination on time, or you're not gonna make it to your destination. I'm like,
Yeah.
why are you getting all jacked up about this? You know, like I was having that simultaneously,
Yeah.
and I think this is, you know, this is in moving in the right direction, I guess.
It's reminding me of an old friend. I won't name who this is. I guess we could just say we'll call him Gabriel, right? And so he would never name. He would call himself and talk about himself in the third person.
Oh yeah.
Because he was really into being spiritual, right? And so he suddenly stopped identifying with him being that as me. So he would say, in like, oh, he would say this about himself. Oh, Gabriel's gonna go to the market right now, instead of I'm gonna go to the market
Yeah.
right now. When you're saying that about Ananda my ma, but my
Yeah.
judgmental ass was like, God, who is this guy? He's so in his ego talking about that. But I think there's a real spiritual teaching because he wasn't so zoomed in identifying with his body.
Yeah. And but he may or may not have been in that state, or it
Right.
might have been he was showing off that he's so aware that he's
Yeah.
not his body. You know,
Yeah.
I think probably with Ananda Ma, you know, because
She was there.
she was there because
She
this is
was
somebody
there.
who could just like boom drop into samadhi in
Yeah.
27 hours, and they have to carry her out of the room, you know, kind of thing. And that's a little bit of a different situation. But who knows? You know, who knows with this guy? Speaking of that, I met this guy at the uh, Ayurvedic hospital that he told me he could get me to samadhi in 4 days.
Was he a teacher?
No, no, no. He was just some guy who was there, and
How much did he want for it?
I I didn't even ask him. The minute he said that, he lost me.
He lost you.
He lost me completely.
I've had some people say stuff like that too. That's hilarious.
I get you to samadhi in 4 days.
Oh, so you should have said, I know somebody that can get me there in 2 days. Anyways, let's
Do you know
let's move
somebody?
on.
Let's move on. Should we
Yes.
move on? You want to
Yeah,
do it? You
let's
want to
move on.
take a
Let's
hit?
move on. Oh gosh, that sounds real good.
What do you want to take a hit of?
Some LSD.
Whoa!
LSD. LSD.
Is that
Love
even
it.
legal? Is that even
I
legal?
Yes, the OG LSD, a hit
Oh,
of
it's totally
love,
legal.
service, and devotion,
What
baby.
was that again?
A hit of love, service, and devotion, baby.
Oh man,
Ah,
God, I love it.
OG LSD.
All right. So, for those of you that don't know what we're talking about and you're thinking we're about to drop acid, every episode we like to finish up with what we call the hit of the day. And it's a hit of love, service, and devotion. And it takes the form of different quotes from spiritual teachers, from lots of times we hear from Ram Dass or Neem Karoli Baba. But we're going to hear from Krishna Das,
Ooh.
one of our beloved teachers, and of course, great Kirtan Wala. And he wrote a book about the Hanuman Chalisa called Flow of Grace. And he said this simple thing: the most important part of any spiritual practice is doing it.
Mm,
I want to say that one more time and
mm.
let it really soak in. The most important part of any spiritual practice is doing it. How does that make you feel?
I'm so high right now just hearing that. It feels so good. It just, it's reminding me, first of all, just talking about Krishna Das is, you know, when I was in India, we kept crossing each other. When I was on my way to Kenchi, he was on his way to Vrindavan, to Rishikesh. And then when I was on my way to Vrindavan, he was on his way somewhere else. So never got to see him. But it's so amazing, his popularity in India right now.
Yeah, well,
Like the Indian people love him so much. And it makes me so happy to see this, and thousands and thousands and thousands of people showing up at his kirtans in all these different cities, and just he as one of the few people, at least Westerners, has helped Indians revive their love for the divine name and for this
Yeah.
practice of chanting.
Isn't that something
It's
else?
crazy.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
feel like, was it Neem Karoli Baba or somebody that said something like that the West was going to be the one that was going to kind of reintroduce a lot of
I
the
don't know why I think of
yoga?
City Mom, maybe. I'm
Somebody
not
said,
sure.
yeah, but anyway, I remember somebody, some saint or some high figure saying like the next like turn of the yogic path is going to be that it's going to start coming back from the West. And that's a perfect example of that.
It really is. And the way I see it, and I imagine most of us we see it, it's just Maharaji showing himself.
Hmm.
I want to say not showing, but through his voice, Maharaji is just touching so many people. Um,
Absolutely. And Maharaji, speaking of that, Maharaji's popularity is blowing up too.
Gosh, it's just insane.
I-
Kenchi was unbelievable. It was so crowded, but so great. Ah, the darshans.
But I mean, I see like a picture of Baba in almost every shop in Rishikesh these
Yeah,
days, you know?
yeah, it's true. So many people that did not meet him in form are being touched by his
Yeah.
grace.
Yeah. It's pretty outstanding.
It's incredible how this has
But
happened.
so let's look
Okay,
at
so
this line
this
before we, I
line,
mean,
this
we're
is
just like,
good.
oh,
We're just
Krishna
riffing.
Das,
We're just
oh,
going.
Neem Karoli Baba.
Yeah.
But what is he saying here? What is he saying?
He's saying you gotta do it. You gotta do sadhana. Sadhana is making time, preferably every single morning, before you get on the phone, before you eat breakfast, before you check your Instagram likes, before you read the news.
Wait, before Instagram?
Yes,
Wait, I
everything
mean, can't we
before.
make an exception here?
No, you can't make an exception.
Ah,
It's solo time with yourself to zoom out and to remember that love is the strongest medicine, and to remember that I'm not my body and I'm not my thoughts, and that my ego is the greatest adversary in my whole life, and lean deeper into the love that is who we are.
mm.
And if you don't do that, you can read about it, you can hear it from other people,
You can listen to
you
podcasts
can
about it.
you can listen like ours, but if you don't do it,
Yeah,
it's not really going to work.
yeah.
So the most important part of any practice is just to do it. And you can talk about the power of the name Ram, but until you start repeating it yourself with faith and sincerity, it's not going to do it. You can repeat quotes from all of these incredible gurus and teachers, but until you put that stuff into practice, it's not really going to transform you from inside out.
Mm.
So may we all just dive deeper into our practice and sadhana.
Krishna Das is so adamant about this, so many times this would come up in, when he was doing those wonderful Thursday
Oh,
nights.
yes, I remember
I
that.
really missed, I really missed those satsangs. I'm so glad
So
that
much
the
wisdom.
world's opened up, and I'm so glad to see him on the road again. But I hope when he gets tired of being on the road, he revives those Thursday night satsangs, because so much wisdom and so much openness to be of service, because uh he really put himself out there every week. And but he was so adamant. I remember so many questions, like people would say like, like uh which should I do? Maha Mantra or Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. And he'd say the mantra that you do is the mantra that's going to work for you. And then what he meant by that is it doesn't matter, but what matters is that you do it.
Mm.
So you can pick whatever mantra you want, but if you don't sit down with your mala bead or whatever and do your japa or chant it's not going to work. It doesn't, oh, like, oh, my guru gave me a mantra, but do you do that mantra?
Yeah.
Like, is that, oh, no, but my guru gave it to me. Well, great. So you have an ornament, maybe. Now you have a little ornament, but it's not going to do anything for you. And he says that over and over and over. And then, one of the other one that I like that's kind of related to this is that people would say, oh, like I really want to like up my spiritual practice. And he'd say, no, you don't. They say, what do you mean? What do you mean? No, I don't. No, I do. I really want to. And he's like, if you really wanted to, you would.
Mm. Yeah.
And that's such great, simple teaching that it's like it's like, oh, I really want to like get in shape. No, you don't.
No, you don't really want
No,
to.
because if you really wanted to get in shape, guess what? You would. We do what we really want. So the person who's saying I really want to get in shape, who's just spending all their afternoons on the couch watching Netflix and eating potato chips, that person doesn't really, that's what they really want to do is sit on the couch and watch
Yeah.
Netflix and eat potato chips. We're doing what we really want to do. So, I think that's the other thing is that you can't just want to get more spiritual, or you can't just want to, you know, up your spiritual game. You have to actually do it. And that's what he's saying, you know, and, um, and even us saying we want to do something, if it doesn't lead us to doing it, it's not even true, you know? So, I mean,
Yeah, I'm thinking about Hanuman here. Like, because Hanuman is, he symbolizes so much action. You got to do, you got to put all this stuff to action. He's, this line, Vidyavana Guniyati Chatur. We did this a few weeks ago, or many podcasts ago. What was that line 7, I think?
mm,
He's got this amazing knowledge. He's full of virtue. He's completely skillful and clever, but he's putting it into action with Rama Kaja.
mhm.
So the action, I think, is doing sadhana. The number one action every day in our life, I really believe, should be to do our sadhana,
Mm.
because that's how we can shift out of our identification with our stories and our misery. I always remember that's was part of these, during the lockdown, those Thursday nights. That's what's going to give us space in our minds from identifying with
Mm.
that stuff.
I heard this wonderful phrase a couple days ago. Consistency is devotion. And so that like we talked about this a little bit, this idea of like shifting out of like feeling like we need to be disciplined. But we went back and forth. You were fighting for discipline,
Yeah.
but but a lot of people have like negative connotations around that.
Yeah.
So the hack that I came up with is don't try to be disciplined, try to be devoted. Devote yourself to something. Then discipline's just part of the game. If you're devoted to your sadhana, you don't need discipline because you've already devoted like I've devoted a half an hour every morning to do my japa. Okay, great. So you don't need discipline because that time, I mean, maybe you need some willpower, but like I said, discipline can push some people's buttons, so but devotion, we're all, hey, listen, you're listening to the Love Everyone podcast. We're bhakti yogis. We're all about devotion. Devotion's not a dirty word. Devotion is like the goal, the path and the goal. So yeah, this is it's so simple, and yet it's like the most challenging part
Mm.
of it for so many people. I mean, including myself. more and more and more, it becomes more natural and more easy for me to do my sadhana and to make sure that I do something every day, even if I literally just take 10 minutes out and chant a Hanuman Chalisa, which is not maybe as much as I want to do or that I might of my ideal, but on a busy day, I still, it's become more natural and easy to do that, but it's still a challenge. And some people, you know, um, are fighting with this concept just constantly. How to
Yeah.
do it, how to make myself do it,
Just do it.
how to
Just
do
do
it.
it.
Yeah,
Just
just do
do the sadhana. Just do your
it.
practice. Just do your practice. But you got to love it too. You got to love doing it. It's got to be something that makes you feel good, and you have faith in it. You have to have faith in what you're doing. Otherwise, you're not going to do it. If you don't
Mm,
believe it's good for you, look, for me and you sitting around chanting Ram, 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 or 40 verses to Hanuman, we have faith in that.
yeah.
But for, the random guy or girl walking down the street, they'd say that's ludicrous. That's not good for you. They don't see that because they don't have faith. So, but for that person, maybe they see that sitting silently would be good for them, so they do it because of that. So it's so personal, right? All of this stuff is
Oh,
so
100%.
personal. And even within bhakti, it's so personal. Some people are more of reading the scriptures, other people do cow seva, others dress their deities, other people chant kirtan. So and maybe the rare people do it all.
Right. And that's just within bhakti
You
because
just find what works for you,
he's saying any spiritual
any
practice.
spiritual practice.
So So just do your practice, everybody. That's all. But don't get caught up in it. I think he says that a lot too. Like stop trying to like think about what it means or what it is or whatever. That's another thing. Like, oh well, chanting Ram, that's gonna, solve all your problems. Well, what is Ram? Oh, Ram's got problems. Ram's got this. Ram's got that. People want to talk about, what they don't like about Ram, or they, like if we let that stuff in, like it just completely blocks the whole scene. So
Yeah, man. And I think regardless, whoever it is, wherever you are, if you're in a body, there's going to be problems. It's just the way it is. But if you can zoom out, your problems don't have the weight that they do.
yeah,
And but if you're too zoomed out, maybe you're a little heartless. So it's like this great dance, this balancing act between
yeah,
being, you know, totally in your humanness. I heard this one guy, his name's Peter Crone. He's a old buddy of mine, actually. I used to hang out with him all the time at Real Food Daily. He's become this hugely popular spiritual teacher now. And I was just listening to him on a podcast. Great guy, great teacher. All found it, his whole, he calls it like art, mind, conscious architecture or something like this. And it's all, grounded in spirituality. That's the foundation, and living from your essence. And he says, you're a human being. Your human part of you is your body and your brain. Your being part of you is the timeless aspect of you that's your essence. And he says, you have to honor that body and that brain, but you have to as well to honor your essence. Most people are too identified with their body and their brain, the human part of themselves, and they completely don't even know that the being part of themselves
mm,
exists. But you have to walk with one foot in both, which is another way of saying everything we've been talking about. Right?
yeah. So we have to be a human being, and we also have to be a being human.
Yes, I love it. Beautiful. The being human.
Yeah. Well,
Beautiful.
are you a human being? I'm being human.
I'm a being human.
I'm a being human.
And what I love about him is that he's always pushing people to tilt a little bit towards more of their being side than their
Well,
human side.
I think that's, that makes sense.
That's the nature of a spiritualist, right? The nature
100%.
of maybe a scientist would probably
He's a materialist.
materialist. Yes, materialist would be tilted that direction.
Yeah. Well, let's tilt a little bit towards the being side of things. But again, we want to zoom out just
Zoom
the right
out,
distance, just the right distance.
just the right distance.
Just find that perfect balance, zoomed in enough that you can see what's going on, and you can take care of your relationships, and but zoomed out far enough that you can see the horizon, and you can tell that there's so much more going on. Look at all that stuff over there, and look at all that stuff over there, and look at everything that's going on behind me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I love that.
It's fun. It's fun being a human, isn't it?
And it's
Gosh,
fun being a being.
it's fun being a
I mean, it's fun being a human being, and it's fun being
being a
human.
being human, right?
Yeah, being a being human. What are you doing? I'm being a human
I'm
right
being
now.
human.
I'm being
I'm a being human.
I'm a being human.
I'm a
Yeah,
being
okay.
human. Yeah.
All right, we should wrap it up, brother.
All right. All
Uh,
right. As
you
fun as
said,
this is, I just
I
love
know.
hanging out with you, man. It's so
I
great.
love it, and I can't wait to see you, boy, in just a few days.
Yeah, we're gonna be in Taos.
God, that's so
Sounds great.
great. All right, so let's just finish with a short closing prayer. Oh, thanks everybody for being here. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu.
May all beings, including ourselves, be happy, be well, and be free from suffering. May all of our thoughts, may all of our words, and may all of our actions in some way contribute to that happiness, that well being, and that freedom from suffering for all.
Love everyone. Feed everyone, serve everyone, and remember God.
Jai Jai Siya Ram, Jai Jai Hanuman Ki.
Jay.
Sankatamochan Hanuman Ki.
Jay.
Ji Baba Neem Karoli Santa Maharaj Ki.
Jay.
Thanks so much, everybody, for being with us. Episode 21, the Love Everyone podcast. Thank you, brother. And we'll see y'all next time.
All right. Thank you so much, brother. And we look forward to sharing some more bhakti
conversation
with y'all real soon. Ram Ram.
The Bhakti conversation. Love you, brother. See you guys. Jai Sitaram.
Jai Hanuman.